Hey guys, what is happening in this world? Are we back in the 1900s or in the 2000s? Because US is taking on Greenland, and US, I think so, I don't know what is happening. Is US buying Greenland, or is US taking over Greenland? Something really strange is happening in this world, because like I always know that okay, Greenland is a different country, Iceland is a different country, and US is a different country, but now US wants Greenland, and if it gets Greenland, then it has a lot of power in the whole ocean side, because now Russia cannot come near it, and there will be a lot of things going on. So let's watch this.
This is Greenland. It's the largest island in the world, but for decades it was overlooked. A seemingly irrelevant, remote, frozen wasteland owned by
more
Denmark.
ice than
But since
Iceland
Trump came to
itself.
office, he's been obsessed with trying to take it.
Yeah, more.
Even
Yeah,
floating
yeah.
the idea of buying it outright.
Buying it
Up
outright.
until now, those attempts haven't
Trump is
exactly
How?
worked.
buying it.
This time, however, things are looking very different.
How is it for
A couple
sale?
of years ago, the idea of forcibly seizing territory from a NATO ally would have been totally unthinkable. But with the US invading Venezuela, detaining its president, and facing little more than diplomatic outrage in response, it's become abundantly clear that those old rules don't seem to apply anymore.
Oh my
And
god.
Trump is clearly punching
US is
on
becoming
the
a road
idea of
roller.
expanding
Oh my
America's
God.
reach. If he were to decide to take the island by force, it doesn't seem like anybody could stop him. Something which looks more and more
But
likely
why?
by the day.
Yeah.
Trump himself claimed the US needs Greenland, and even joked about plans to make Greenland great again.
Oh
Yet
my
the
god.
real reasons for his obsession with the island are far more abrupt. Greenland's location is unique, sitting almost halfway between North America and Europe, and within touching distance of some of the most strategic waters in the world.
Oh.
But the thing is, the US already has military bases here. And if
Already?
they wanted more, they could probably just ask Denmark and be allowed. Trump's interest comes from something else. Beneath its icy surface lies an abundance of rare earth minerals, and potentially
my
some of the
God,
largest
leave
oil
Greenland,
deposits
leave
in
it.
the world, with an estimated value of upwards of $4 trillion.
Oh my God.
Around 20%
That's too
of
much.
the entire past production of the United
Why
States.
I am seeing the start of an Avatar movie?
Yeah, actually. Yeah,
It's
this
like
is
that,
actually
like-
the beginning.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Geographic, military,
Now I
and
know why
economic
James Cam-
potential
how
have
James
transformed
Cameron
this
got the
icy
idea.
island into one of the
Yes.
biggest geopolitical flashpoints of the last decade. But it's not just the US who have noticed this. It's Russia and China. too.
Yeah, of course.
In the last few years, their presence in the Arctic has exploded. Both have invested billions in the region,
Oh.
from an Arctic Silk Road project to even bidding on vital infrastructure in Greenland itself. As this threat grows, the US is getting increasingly desperate and increasingly unpredictable.
But they had so
which
much
raises
debt
a
on
deeper
them that
question.
how
What
come
is
they're
it
buying
about Greenland
Iceland?
that made it so
Greenland,
valuable?
sorry.
And
No,
why
they
is
don't
the
have any
US
debt.
willing to risk so much
I'm
to
talking about
secure it?
US. We saw the video.
To understand
Yeah,
this
they don't have any
relationship,
debt on,
we
like,
first need
Greenland,
to go back
no.
in
Oh,
time.
okay.
Believe it or not, this isn't the first time the USA has tried to buy Greenland. You see, Greenland is owned by Denmark, but in World War II, they were invaded by Nazi Germany. And
Oh.
suddenly, the island and the United States was at risk. Before this, there had been plans to buy Greenland and Iceland, but here is where they first entered the scene, being granted the right to protect the island against non-US powers, and even set up radio stations and military posts.
In
And
1940
when
it
the war
started.
ended, the United States decided that they quite liked having a foothold in Greenland, and so they made an offer to Denmark, $100 million in
Ooh.
gold, worth around $1.6 billion in today's money.
Oh,
But to the US's surprise, they were told no.
of course.
No.
Instead, what they
Yes.
could do was keep a military presence here, and essentially keep protecting the island from a new threat, the Soviet Union. And so in 1953, they set up this airbase here, in northern Greenland, with around 10,000 US personnel.
Thule Air
Oh.
They
Base.
didn't stop there, setting up many more across the
Another
island,
one, another
marking
one.
the northernmost outpost for the American military. It's easy to see why. Because of the curvature of the Earth, these positions were sometimes just
Oh.
3,000 miles from
So
Moscow,
close to
and
Russia.
were crucial for providing a
Let's
line
buy
of
it.
defense and radar against the Soviet Union, and also served as the perfect spot to launch high-altitude reconnaissance missions into enemy territory.
I
It
think
seemed
Indian
like the
Russia will
US
be
would
only
keep
left, and
expanding
all the
its
surroundings
presence
will
on the
belong to
island.
USA.
Yeah.
But then the Cold War ended, and in the 90s, American interest kind of faded, Equipment was abandoned, and even whole towns were sold for as little as $1.
Oh,
It seemed like this sparsely
$1?
populated island would slowly fade away again.
Oh.
But that has all changed. After patrolling Greenland's coastal waters, researchers from the US Geological Society made an enormous discovery. Back in 2008, they estimated Greenland could hold over 52 billion barrels of oil. To put that
Oh.
into perspective,
US is like,
in
did somebody say oil?
2023,
Yeah,
the United
I'm
States has
coming.
proven reserves of
Oh, United States has
47
47
billion barrels.
and
Oh,
Greenland has
yeah,
These
52.
estimates are correct.
Oh my god,
Okay.
Greenland is
Greenland
gone.
has the potential
Tata.
to double the United States reserves. And even if those calculations are off,
Oh my
it's still
god.
incredibly valuable. Oil is the black gold which makes the world go
Yeah.
round, and it's at the centre of nearly every aspect of daily life,
Hmm.
providing the primary energy source for transportation, manufacturing, and other essential
Very,
activities.
very important.
But most of global oil production is dominated by a few key players.
Saudi.
But they don't
Russia,
always see eye
Canada.
to eye with the United States. And since the 2010s, American oil production has exploded in an effort to protect national security. It's estimated that 13% of the undiscovered oil and 30% of the gas worldwide is in the Arctic,
Oh
along with
my
a host
god.
of other resources. As a result, Arctic nations, including the US, have become very interested into tapping
Then
into
why
these
is not
resources
Denmark
to
investing in it?
facilitate economic growth,
Yeah.
generate revenue, and protect economic interests. The retreat of sea ice and glacial melt is making these resources more and more accessible. and
Everybody's
Greenland
going there.
serves as the perfect space to take advantage of this. But there is a problem. Greenland doesn't want to extract the oil.
Thank god.
Oh.
In July 2021, they banned all new oil and gas exploration, citing environmental concerns and high extraction costs as the main reason for the ban, stating the price of oil extraction is just too
Too
high.
high.
Oh, too
But if
much.
we know one thing about Trump, is that he doesn't really believe in climate change, and he's often called it at times a hoax, and promotes mantras like drill, baby,
Drill,
drill.
baby, drill.
So it seems that Greenland's
Oh.
value is far more than just
It's
strategic.
coming true.
Trump is
But believe it or
different
not,
to everybody.
ice levels in the Arctic have been receding, and that is changing the way we view the area. You see, most of our planet is covered in water, but not up here in Greenland. This ocean has always been frozen and inaccessible to anyone who wants to cross it by boat, apart from under very specific circumstances.
Wow.
But as more carbon has entered the air, more and more heat is being trapped in the earth, and it's been heating the globe. Just by a few degrees, but by enough to make some significant changes,
Oh, it's
reducing the level
melting.
of ice every single
Oh,
year.
it's so
The Arctic
pretty.
Ocean specifically is heating 4 times faster
4
than
times
anywhere
faster.
else on the planet.
This is
And it's
serious.
completely
Very
changing
serious.
the way the geopolitical game is
And you know, we
being
should
played.
be caring about it.
Melting ice
But
is
Trump is like,
uncovering new shipping
we can get
routes,
oil.
like
Yeah.
the Northwest
It's
Passage.
so focused on oil.
These Arctic routes are dramatically shorter than traditional ones, and right in the heart of almost all of these routes is Greenland, placed directly to take advantage of this. For example, a journey from Asia to Europe through the Arctic could cut weeks of global shipping
Yokohama
times
is in,
compared to routes
Japan?
through the Suez
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Panama canals. These savings in time
Wow.
and fuel could revolutionize global trade and tilt economic power towards the countries who control the seas, meaning any country who controls them controls the world's supply of goods, of which 80% travels by sea. And in just the last 10 years alone, the number of ships passing through the Arctic has already increased by 30%, a number which will only get bigger.
That is, I
But
think, so
unfortunately
bad.
for the United States, they are not the only player making moves in the
China,
Arctic.
Russia.
And this is part of the reason why Trump has labelled Greenland as critical for the future of the United States' security. In recent years, Russia has been rapidly militarizing its Arctic frontier, building dozens of military bases along its northern coastline.
Oh.
They've even gone as far as planting a flag under the North Pole to
Whoa!
stake their claim over the Arctic territory.
Oh my
And
god,
even
these
China,
guys are
a
going
nation
crazy.
Not close to the
Yeah.
Arctic, has stepped up its presence in the area and even made billions of dollars of investments in Greenland itself. And even before Trump made these bold claims, the US had begun to respond, reopening the US consulate in Nuuk in 2020 for the first time since 1953. And committing $4 billion to
Thule
upgrade the
Airbase.
Thule Airbase,
$4 billion.
improving things like runways and even the local transport. And to Donald Trump and his second term in presidency, the US national security seems to be high on his agenda, or perhaps more importantly, marking America's sphere of influence. He has made remarks about Canada joining the United States, along with the Panama Canal, and even renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Ah, yeah, I
Gulf
saw
of
that.
America.
But his obsession with Greenland seems more concrete, having now been a theme of both of his terms. This leaves the question, how can he buy it, and how much will it
Yeah,
actually
what
cost?
will be the amount?
Now,
Yeah.
Greenland's strategic might is all well and good,
Oh.
and it has an incredibly
God, it's
valuable piece of
so
land.
cold.
But
Yeah.
there's a problem in Trump's plan. Currently, it belongs to Denmark,
Hmm.
and they have said many times that it's not for sale.
Not for sale.
In fact,
Thank
they've
God.
also just invested another $1.5 billion to boost the island's defense. For most presidents, that fact alone would put the possibility
Yeah,
of his
he should
acquisition
stay quiet.
firmly out of the question.
But not America.
After all, invading another NATO member has traditionally been viewed as an absolute red line. But in today's world, that assumption is starting to look
There's
far
no red
less
line.
certain. In fact, the White House press secretary herself refused to rule anything out,
She's
saying
pretty.
that all options remain on the
Oh
table
my
when
God.
asked
Oh.
about the issue. The truth is that if the US were to go all out on an invasion and take the land by force, there isn't anybody who would be able to stop them. With that being said, this is far more likely a negotiating tactic, an attempt to pressure Denmark into coming to the table, rather than a genuine plan for war. But even if Denmark itself were willing to sell, how would they even be able to come up with a price?
Yeah.
Modern
Yeah.
examples of
1
countries
trillion,
trading land
2
are pretty
trillion.
rare these days. But there was an example somewhat similar back in 2017, where Egypt transferred sovereignty over Tiran and Sanafir Islands to Saudi Arabia in exchange for a $22 billion aid package.
Oh,
And while putting a
22
precise
billion.
estimate on the value of Greenland is like guessing the length of string, some estimates have been
1.7
closer to $2
trillion.
trillion,
Wow.
Crazy.
which
That's
even
too
for
much
America
amount.
is a lot of money.
Too much.
Especially for an incoming administration which wants to reduce its national debt and cut taxes. While it is technically independent, both
Denmark.
Denmark and Greenland know that if the US comes knocking, then there's not much that really can be done. And even 50 years ago, Greenland's fate seemed tied to American power. And as of 2009, it's had the recognised right to become fully
So
independent
pretty.
if it chooses.
Yeah.
It seems then that this could be the chosen path, to convince the people of Greenland to join the United States,
Will they
rather
agree?
than using economic or military might.
I don't think so.
While many laughed off Trump's comments about Greenland in the first term about being just another one of his tweets, it seemed like this time there is real weight behind it. But even if America does not purchase the land, as ice continues to melt, its value and spot in the world of
Increasing.
geopolitics is only going to rise.
This time Trump is very serious about Greenland and he might go and capture it, but it's very hard because you know the NATO member, Denmark is also a NATO member, and you cannot just go and snatch it because all the other countries will be very terrified of it, and 100% China and Russia will make a whole meal out of it, that see what US is doing, and the other countries will also be kind of terrified of what US is doing and the way they are doing it.
I think so now at this point of the time US is scaring every other country because how US has eyes on all the countries, what they are doing, why they are doing, and it was about the oil. I thought why the Trump wants to buy that land, and thankfully they said it is not for the sale.
Actually, so what do you guys think about it? Do let us know in the comment section below. So do like, share, and
Subscribe.
bye.